presentation. For more info, search todec.org. That's TODEC.org. Or call for upcoming workshops at 951-943-1955. That's 951-943-1955 for the Todec Legal Center. And dream on.
For more local radio every day, tune into KCAA Loma Linda.
Oh yeah, you're tuning in to the hottest show, the SoCal Boxing Report, on 102.3 and 106.5 FM on KCAA.
SoCal Boxing, SoCal Boxing, Boxing Report.
You tuning in?
Boxing Report.
Furious like Pacquiao with De La Hoya left foot. Funny like the model metal pious, take a second look. Relentless like Salvador Sanchez and Johnny Tapia. Hard to hit like Witty, converge from Verge Mafia.
So now they're taking you, making you, never faking you. Heart like Holyfield, but like a Tyson punch and breaking you. Like the first fight of Eric Morales and Barrera. They're running in the race to win it in Spanish Carrera.
So make sure that you listen every Sunday on the hour. They're climbing up the ranks with that George Foreman power. So while the competition bobs and weaves the punches, like Sugar Ray Leonard, they're coming quick and in bunches.
Like Bernard Hopkins, determination and longevity. I'll take this opportunity to plug random comedy, known as Chulo in the music industry. From Pomona, much respect to Shane Mosley.
Welcome to the Southern California Boxing Report. This is Anthony Stack Saldana, and I'm here with Danny Z and our new co-host, the amazing Eric.
What's going on?
Not a whole lot. The SoCal Boxing Report is brought to you by MT Collision Center. MT Collision Center specializes in foreign and domestic cars. They're located at 829 East Emporium Street in the city of Ontario, California. Their services include complete paint and body, full collision repair, expert color matching, professional frame straightening. MT Collision Center also accepts all insurance claims. Mention the Southern California Boxing Report and receive a 50% deductible off $500 or less. For more information and free estimates, call MT Collision Center at 909-988-AUTO. That's 909-988-2886. So welcome aboard, man.
What's going on, man? Glad to be here. Excited, super excited.
So before, just to tell people who out there who are listening, Eric, amazing Eric.
There you go.
Let me get that right.
Play on words.
Is one of our new correspondents. So thanks for coming on the team, man. We highly appreciate it.
No, glad to be here. Love being part of SoCal Boxing. Excited about what's going to happen. Excited about working with Danny Z, Stacks, the whole team. We're going to get it going, and we're just going to talk about this sport we love, boxing, man.
Yeah, and let's go ahead and get into that, man. Thursday night we had some good fights out at Fantasy Springs. It was on ESPN, and it was headlined by Joseph Jojo Diaz.
Jojo. Yeah,
also on the card we had Virgil Ortiz, a young prospect out of Texas, and Virgil looked really good, man.
Yes. Yeah, Virgil was serious. Virgil to me was like scary good, and I don't just throw that around. Like some of these guys are like, you know, you see up-and-comers coming up. I know we got a couple of hot up-and-comers coming up here. We're going to have them on the show here soon. But Virgil was really, really good. I was going to ask you guys, like, what did you guys think about that body work from Virgil?
Oh, I think it was great. I've always been a fan of his, and I'm just waiting for him to get to that next level. Mm-hmm. And, you know, he's going the path he's on right now is great. But, you know, I think that, you know, of course they're going to get him a lot more exposure.
Yeah.
But, yeah, he's going to be one of the top fighters if he keeps it going, man. He's special. I like him.
Yeah.
I like him.
Yeah, Virgil looked good. You know, after the fight, he was sitting down with Bernard Hopkins, and he rated himself a D. He said, man, I could have looked a lot better. I could have did this. I could have did that. I should have listened to my coach more. But he looked good.
Yeah.
You know, of course, being an up-and-coming prospect, you know, he's on TV. He's on ESPN, so I'm sure there was some nerves there.
Mm-hmm.
I can't speak on it because I've never been in the ring. Mm-hmm. But, you know, you see it as they mature. They slow down. They start learning the game more. They start learning, you know, the ring generalship a little bit more. But to me, he looked good.
Yeah, he looked great. And I think what you said when you spoke about those nerves, and that's the key thing about it. Like, we're going to have a couple of fighters come on later, but I always say we talk it, they walk it.
Oh,
so,
absolutely.
you know, we're here, we're talking about it. These guys are actually in there taking the punches, they're doing it. And I kind of saw the same thing you saw, Stacks, to where as the fight progressed, you saw him, even though he was doing it, wasn't that long before, but you saw him kind of calming down, understanding the moment. He started a little anxious because it's, you know, first big show like that, but that body work. And I know he gave himself that grade because he said he didn't listen to his trainer, but I felt he really was applying the things that his trainer was trying to say. And the thing he did that impressed me the most, and before I say what impressed me the most, let's say what's up to the people on Facebook Live. What's up, y'all? Hit us up. Get in that comment section. We'll talk about what you want to. We also have a phone number. It's 888-909-1050. Call in if you have any questions. If Stack says something crazy, which he probably will.
He probably will.
If I say something crazy, which I always do, I don't know about Danny. We'll leave him out of this. But give us a call. Let us know when we bring the fighters on. You guys have any questions, call into that number. Let's talk. Let's chop it up. Let's talk about it. But I was going to tell you guys, did you notice that when one thing Virgil did that was great that a lot of young fighters don't do, when he hurt his man, he kept going to the body.
Oh, yeah.
He didn't, because it's so, it's so, I guess it's tempting. I guess it's like head hunting. We'd have to ask our fighters about that. When you get that guy hurt, you just want to knock him out to the head. But I noticed when Virgil's guy was hurt, he stayed in the body, and I thought that showed great maturity.
No, exactly. And talking about body work, man, what about JoJo Diaz and those left hooks to Victor Tarajas? That body work. First round.
I'm glad he got the stoppage.
Yeah.
I'm so glad he got the stoppage because I think the last couple fights that he had, they went to decision on the previous events, and I'm glad he stopped him because I was like, oh, man, please stop him. Please stop him.
Yeah, and Victor Tarajas is tough, man. He's a former WBC bantamweight champion, so he's no joke. He's been in there with some of the best fighters out there.
Right.
So he really, JoJo put on a show, man.
Absolutely. And you could tell Victor, what I loved about Victor is that he didn't come in to be an opponent that night.
Right.
Victor, he came there to beat JoJo. He showed up and he came in with the mindset to beat him. And what was more impressive is after that first body shot, like those first few,
man,
a lot of fighters just pack it in, especially when you come in to be the opponent that night. You see a lot of guys make this mental decision where they say, you can almost see it, where they say, well, I'm supposed to be the opponent. He's the main guy. I'm going to get my check out. But this guy, got up and kept pressing on. But JoJo just wouldn't let up. He just wouldn't let off the gas.
No, and JoJo looked good. And luckily for JoJo, there's not going to be any type of 60-day or 90-day suspension because he wasn't cut. He really didn't get hit much, so he's ready. And hopefully on this Canelo Triple G rematch card in May, we'll see JoJo go up against Gary Russell Jr.
Let's talk about it, man.
Oh, man. Do you guys really think realistically that it can happen?
Gosh.
I mean, he's a mandatory, but, the politics in the game.
Not just the politics, but every time I see the WBC stripping the title from somebody, it's usually a PBC fighter except for Canelo.
Yeah.
What I mean? And Canelo basically threw the belt back in the WBC's face, but, it's usually a PBC fighter. Badu Jack, somebody of that nature is giving that belt away because they don't want to have to deal with the mandatory or cross-promotional lines. So I don't know if it has something to do with Al Heyman. I don't know if it has something to do with PBC itself, but I'd love to see JoJo and Gary Russell go at it, but I think we have more of a chance of seeing him go up against somebody like a Leo Santa Cruz and Oscar Valdez and Abner Mars before he goes up against Russell Jr. Russell's not fighting. He's taking long layoffs. His last fight was what, in Scandon?
Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah. So I mean, I can hardly remember when Russell Jr. was in the ring last time. So he's got one voluntary defense. And then he has to go up against JoJo or they're going to take that title from him.
Right.
Well, I need my Gary Russell people. If you're out there listening, my Mr. Gary Russell fans, 888-909-1050, give me a call and let's talk about this because I want to see Gary Russell and JoJo Diaz. We can almost talk about boxing as a whole right now. We talk about how many people say, what's wrong with boxing today? What's wrong with boxing today? I love where Oscar De La Hoya is right now on this fight. And what I see in Oscar De La Hoya on the JoJo Diaz, as far as JoJo Diaz going against Gary Russell, is what I'd like to see, even with Oscar all the time, with PBC and Al Heyman, because Oscar's in a place that he has no problem. You notice Oscar's not talking about, well, if we can work out the cross. He's not saying that.
Right.
He's saying, Gary, so that it kind of lets me know that when these guys really want their fighters to fight, they can fight.
Yeah.
So this is proof. What's happening with Gary Russell is actually proof about this because Oscar's. I was really paying attention to Oscar in this. I was like, let me see if he's gonna mention if we can work this out. Never did Oscar say it. He was like, Gary, come get it. Right. Come get this work, and he wants to see that. I think it's a great fight. I think that what happened and what we have in boxing, I want to get you guys' opinion on this, is that it's almost, I don't know if you guys have noticed this, it's like boxing, we talk about how it's changed. It's almost even changed with the fans. That's what I'm saying. If you are a Gary Russell Jr., if you're on Facebook Live and you listen to me right now, and you're a Gary Russell Jr. fan, get in the comment section, call me, I want to talk to you about this. Whatever you are, if you're a Gary Russell Jr. fan, look, you should want to see your guy in with JoJo Diaz. You see what I'm saying? Because in the old days, if I think about my dad's time in boxing, when he was a boxing fan when I was a little kid before my time, if they were a fan of a fighter, they wanted their fighter to fight the other fighter. But now it's almost like the fans are like that. Like if a guy's a fan of Floyd or a fan of Triple G or a fan of this guy, they almost want to protect their fighter,
right,
because of the way the business is going. I just wanted to get you guys' thoughts on that.
No, exactly. Yeah, I mean, you see it all the time, man. They make excuses. You get your little Facebook fans, your little Instagram fans that make excuses for their fighters. Well, you said he was the boogeyman, then how come he didn't knock Canelo out, man? How come he's a killer and he didn't do this or didn't do that? It's real easy to judge fighters and to sit back and Monday morning quarterback when you're on the couch eating popcorn and drinking a beer. And that goes the same for me. I could sit there and say, man, he should be using his jab more.
Yeah. Right.
How's he gonna get inside on this guy? But I'm not the one in the ring taking shots. So
it's a totally different world.
It's a totally different world. Let's go ahead and move on because we do have two special guests with us today. We have Ronnie Rios and Alexis Rocha.
Golden Boy Promotions.
That's right. So they are with us. They're going to be joining us in a few minutes, but we need to get on to the HBO fights. So we had a triple hit on HBO.
Superfly.
But before the televised portion of it kicked off, you had Brian Valoria going up against this guy. His last name was... He's a Russian cat. I forget his last name. Artem Dilakan.
That's a good try, man. That's a good try. Don't try it again.
I'm sorry.
Great try.
Don't try it again.
Be so
Stay
mad
right there.
He can be mad. He can be mad at me all he wants. I'll talk to him in Spanish or something one day. I don't know.
What'd you think of that fight?
Wait, there he is. He just came through the door.
No, okay. Here's what I seen, man. Valoria looked his age.
Right.
And I say it week after week after week. The only fighter undefeated is Father Time. Valoria, 4-time world champion, 2 different divisions. Great fighter, but I mean, it's time to hang it up. This youngster, he looked raw. There's a lot of raw talent there. He looked a little wild. I was, I had some pictures. We had a photographer there, and we were looking at some of the pictures, and he was just throwing at some crazy angles. Valoria couldn't do nothing, man. He lost. He got hit with an elbow, and the referee Lou Moretz jumped in, and he called it an accidental head, but in the replay, it showed the Russian guy throwing an elbow at him, busted him wide open. It turned into a bloody mess in the 11th round. He lost a unanimous decision, and it was a tough loss, But Valoria's had a great career.
Absolutely.
He's fought with some of the best, so, I give it to Valoria, to actually get back in the ring. Then to open it up, to kick it off, we had Dani Aja-Nietes. Now, I followed Nietes for a long time. A lot of people in the States don't know about him. This is only his 3rd time fighting in the United States, and it's his 1st time ever fighting on national television here in the United States. Nietes hasn't lost a fight since 2004, and he's been a world champion since 2007.
Right.
And when he came in the ring, he was getting a lot of boos from the crowd, but there was no reason to boo it. I go back and I watch the replay, and Kellerman's saying the same thing. There's no reason for these guys to be booing him.
Right.
And they were going at it, and he broke down his opponent, Juan Carlos Reveco, guy who's fighting in the United States for his 1st time, broke him down.
Right.
And the end of the 6th, caught him with a big 2-piece and sent him into his corner stumbling. The guy was out on his feet, didn't know where he was at. They let him come back in the 7th, and you could tell that he was still out. Nietes, just kind of sat back, hit him with some precise punches, and next thing you know, dropped him. His corner gets on the canvas and waves the white flag, and that was it. So good for Nietes. He was making the defense of his IBF title. So, he's a flyweight champion. He's a 3-division champion. And now he's talking about moving up to Superfly himself.
I heard that.
So,
I think he will. I think he knows that's where the action is at.
So a little insight is there is going to be a Superfly 3, and it's going to take place in September.
Of course.
And I'm thinking we're going to get a rematch of last night's fight, which we'll get into, the main event. But I'd love to see Nietes and Chocolatito go at it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I would like that. I would like that fight for Chocolatito.
I think that'd be a good fight.
What do you guys see? Real quick, what do you guys see with Chocolatito? Some people are saying it's damaged goods, it's over. Like, what do you?
I think so. I think so.
Really?
And I'll tell you. And I'll tell you why. And I'm gonna tell you why, man.
Talk to
when
us,
you
Stats.
jump 4 divisions, he's a 4-division world champion, man. Not a lot of people can do that. Not even Alexis Arguello could do that, man. He got beat by Aaron the Hawk Pryor in Miami. He couldn't even become a 4-division world champion. Now you see people like De La Hoya, and you see people at welterweight moving up to super welter to middleweight to super middle. Okay, that's fine and dandy, but you know what? They're a lot bigger than somebody that's 108 pounds. When you move up 10 pounds, 4 divisions, that's 10% of your body weight, man.
It's a lot.
It's a lot to be moving up. So last night, when Sorong Vasai weighed in, he weighed 129.8 pounds.
I
129.8.
noticed that.
Yeah,
okay.
I noticed that.
He was
Okay.
big.
Yeah.
So Chocolatito probably will weigh in at 115, and the night of the fight probably weigh about 118.
Yeah.
Right.
So these guys are beasts. You know, he's moving up, and I just don't think the power followed him all the way up to 115. At 105, 108, 112, he's got the power. But moving up to 115 to me is just a little bit too much. And I think he's having trouble making 115. I mean, not trouble making 115, but I just don't think he could get back down to 112 and 115. Those guys are too big for him there, man.
Well,
That's my
okay.
thoughts on that.
Danny Z. Okay, Facebook Live. We got it hot. It's going. It's hot right now. We heard my man Stacks just made his point. You said you feel Chocolatito has something. Let's tell us why. You
I
give
still
your
think
side.
I still think he has it. I mean, I don't disagree that, you know, moving up 4 divisions, especially when you're that in the smaller weight divisions, moving up to 115, it could have been, you know, a big step for him. But I still think he's got a lot left in the tank. He can come back and you know, you got to give him props from the beginning that he was willing to go up from 112 to 115 because he's like, well, you know, I cleaned out this division. I'm going to go to 115. You know,
Beast,
essentially that's what it is, and he was willing to do it.
Well, if you're listening in, fans, right now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and give one of our sponsors a drop. Man, we definitely need to have you back on our show.
Of course, man.
He's going to be a staple, man. So if you're watching in, he's going to be a staple of the show. You're going to be seeing him at media.
Amazing Eric.
The Amazing Eric. You're going to be seeing him at news conferences. You're going to see him interviewing fighters. He's going to be doing a lot of work for Southern California Boxing Report. And after the drop, we are going to be having our 2 special guests come in, Ronnie Rios and Alexis Rocha. All right, Amazing E, thank you so much.
Brothers, yes, sir.
All right.
Appreciate it, man.
All right, man.
All right, the drop.
Last Round Bar and Grill is the spot in the Inland Empire to watch your combat sports. Located at 1542 West Holt Boulevard in the city of Ontario, Last Round Bar and Grill has delicious food and drinks and has over 20 flat screen TVs. It's a great place to bring your family or hang out with your friends. Be sure to follow Last Round Bar and Grill on Instagram and Facebook for updates on future events. Last Round Bar and Grill.
All right, and we're back, and we got, as Stacks mentioned, I think we're having a little bit of trouble with the Facebook feed.
It's okay, man. The Facebook feed's all right. We're a radio show. Facebook is just to
This is live, people.
Yeah, this is live, so it's gonna happen. Now joining us is Ronnie Rios and his brother Alexis Rocha, 2 Golden Boy fighters out of Orange County. How you guys doing today?
Great, happy to be here. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, it's been great so far. You know, I like this. I like the whole setup. Eric was amazing. I wish we still had him up here, but you know, unfortunately, we don't all fit up in this table. So.
Exactly.
Oh, I'm sure you'll get to talk to him again.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll have you guys back on the show, man. Before we get into your guys' fight, we still got 2 more fights to talk about, man. We have the co-main event and the main event from last night. And in the co-main event, you had Carlos Cuadras, and he was going up against McWilliams Arroyo, who hadn't been in the ring for 2 years. Did you guys watch the fights last
I didn't
night?
get to see
No,
him.
we
We've
didn't get
been
to
back
see
and
him.
forth. You know,
Yeah.
they have us going everywhere.
Right, I'm sure you guys are pretty busy,
Yeah.
but I mean, you know, just in general, before before actually watching the fight, what do you guys think? What do you guys think of fighters like Arroyo and
Well, Arroyo I haven't seen
Cuadras?
in a while, but Cuadras, he used to train with Robert, so we used to see him a lot, and his punching power is very good. But the thing is, I saw him kind of tire down eventually, you know. So I think that was one problem with him.
Yeah, so basically what happened, man, it was a tough fight. I think Arroyo gave him a little bit more than he was expecting. He came out firing. He pressured Cuadras instead of Cuadras taking the pressure to him, and he pulled out a majority decision, and it was a tough loss for Cuadras. It's his 3rd loss in the last 4 fights. You know, he lost to Chocolatito, he lost to Gallo Estrada, and now this one to McWilliams Arroyo, and he had a new camp. He was up with in Big Bear with Abel Sanchez, and this is his 4th trainer, like in his 4th different fight. So, you know, I don't know what's going to happen with Cuadras from this point forward. He's still a good fighter. I don't think his age is caught up with him yet, but I think he really needs to buckle down and figure out who his trainer is going to be, because honestly, that may be affecting him, having all these different types of trainings, you know, and different people telling him stuff in his corner. I think it may have been a little too much for him. So we'll just have to see what happens with Cuadras from here. And in the main event, I mean, we had a wild crowd at the Forum last night. I was at ringside, and we had Gallo Estrada, and he was going up against the world champion Sorong Vasai. And Sorong Vasai, as you know, he's coming off back-to-back victories over Chocolatito. He had won one
Huge
in New
victories.
Yeah, he had one in New York, and then came back and he rematched Chocolatito and knocked him out at the StubHub Center, and it was a clean knockout. And people were saying maybe Chocolatito's on his way out. You know, maybe he was a little bit old. So I think this fight was Sorong Vasai had a lot to prove because Gallo Estrada is in his prime.
Yeah.
Right.
And it was a great fight. I honestly thought that Gallo would have to box him more, that Sorong Vasai would be too strong on the inside, but it was actually the opposite, man. It's like every time Gallo would go outside, Sorong Vasai would counter him and he would hit him with shots. But when Gallo came inside, he was working that body, and his speed was too much for Sorong Vasai. He was smothering Sorong Vasai's punches, wasn't letting him extend his arms. But then when he got hit, he would feel the power, and then he would kind of like back up, you know. So it was a back and forth battle. I do think Sorong Vasai won. It could have been a draw. I wouldn't have been upset with the draw. He won a majority decision. I know it was a draw on one card, and then he won the other two cards. But it was a close fight, and I do expect him to rematch again.
No, absolutely.
So, what would you think of the fight, Danny?
I thought it was great. I thought it was a war. It lived up to the hype, and especially being at the Forum in front of almost 7,500 people.
Yeah.
It was a great turnout. It was a great turnout. What I wanted to ask you guys, coming as fighters, do you guys view Sorong Vasai as being included maybe as a potential pound-for-pound guy in the top maybe 10, even 15 now that he's had the string of wins?
Oh, definitely. I think that win over Chocolatito and now with Estrada ranks him up there.
Mm-hmm.
You have an impressive knockout over Chocolatito, who was dominating divisions and divisions.
Yeah, a lot of people were saying that Chocolatito was the best pound-for-pound fighter, and a lot of people don't give him credit because he's lighter in weight, whereas a lot of people don't know that the lighter weight classes don't have as many fighters as the higher weight classes.
Right.
You know, I think there's only like 150, 200 people in his weight class, whereas weight classes like ours is thousands. You know, so I just think it's tougher for them to fight opponents. But this guy, he's fighting the toughest opponents, not only in his weight class but in boxing. For them to say Chocolatito was one of the best pound-for-pound fighters. I remember they quoted Floyd Mayweather asking, "Who's your favorite fighter now that you're retired?" And he said Chocolatito.
That's a big statement.
Yeah, that's a big statement. That's from one of the greatest fighters ever.
Right.
Right. And then afterwards, he ends up losing a split decision, which I honestly thought Chocolatito took the first fight, and then the second fight, it was just a brutal knockout. Yeah. So it just, I think a lot of people they just gotta give him his credit.
Exactly. And like I was saying earlier, to jump 4 divisions, to win titles in 4 different weight divisions, it's tough,
Yeah.
And I think he plateaued as far as his strength goes, because he's fighting guys now that are just, to me, honestly, too strong at 115. That doesn't mean
Too big.
Yeah, too big. I don't think he necessarily can't win another world title there, but I think to be an elite at Superfly is going to be real tough for him at his age and all the wars he's been in.
Yeah.
It's tough.
But
But
a lot of people don't know that Chocolatito's his coach that he started from the beginning, also passed away last year.
Right.
Too.
Exactly.
That affected him a lot.
Yeah, I think that has a major effect on us as fighters. My brother and I, we've had the same coach our whole career, amateur pro. So you get familiar with that voice in the corner, and then once that voice is gone and you try to replace him, I just think it's too.
Yeah.
It's just it's an emotional.
And it's funny that you say that about the mentality, because a lot of boxing has to do with the mental state that you're going into that fight. And last night when I watched the HBO replay of the fights when I got home, I didn't realize that it was the 20th anniversary of the death of Gallo Estrada's mom. He had passed away when he was 7 years old. So, that anniversary of his mom's death, to go into a world championship match at that caliber of a fight, he must have had a lot going through his mind.
Yeah,
So like I said, I think in the rematch, I think we will see a better Gallo Estrada, and wish him the best of luck in that Superfly series that Tom is putting on with 360 Promotions. It's great.
That's a great event.
It's a great event, man. So
Entertaining for the fans too.
Yeah.
Lighter weight classes, more punches, So and not only that, it's good for boxing because, like you were saying, I heard you speaking earlier. You're saying a lot of fighters don't fight everyone nowadays.
Yeah.
It's not like the older days where back in the older days they had maybe 1, 2, 3 titles tops. Nowadays there's just so many titles to keep count of, so people can pick and choose. Nah, you know what? I'm not gonna fight so and so because he's my mandatory. I'm gonna fight for this belt because I have to fight someone easier.
No, exactly, man. And let's get into you guys, man. So you guys fight next Friday night, right?
Yeah.
March
March
9th.
Yeah,
March 9th.
Yes, sir.
And Ronnie, you're going to be headlining the ESPN card, correct?
Yeah, of course.
Hey, that's big. When you got that news, what'd you think? What was your reaction?
Oh, man, I was just like, man, it's, you fought on HBO a couple times, and when you fight ESPN, that's just like, it's awesome because I think you get to touch more fans. You know, it's major stream TV. Not that HBO isn't, but people have more access to ESPN, NBC,
Absolutely.
which NBC would be great to work with boxing with Golden Boy. You know, that would be something real good because more people get to tune in, more people watch. You have more eyes on you, and it's just so when they told me ESPN, I was just like, damn, that's cool. And then they said in your backyard, I was like, damn, that's awesome.
It's even better.
Even
That's
better.
Yeah, that's
Orange
even better.
County.
And then the third one was like your brother's on there too. I was like, oh, because originally we were supposed to fight March 22nd. So
Right.
then they say, hey, your brother's on the card with you. It's like, damn, that's cool. We get to train together. We get to suffer the same watching other people eat, and you can't eat together. You know?
Making weight
Yeah,
together,
making
being,
weight together.
being grumpy together.
Exactly, yeah.
Has it ever happened before where you guys were like on the same
Yeah.
trajectory?
Twice,
So it's
yeah.
happened
This
before.
is their third time already.
And,
Oh, okay.
and it's funny because a lot of people don't know what you're going through. Not mentally, but like when you can't eat. I mean, you're not starving yourself, but you can't eat. I don't know, your favorite food, and you're just like, damn, and so is eating it, right? So me and him will be like, hey, if you can eat anything you want right now, what would it be? So that's like something. That's like something that, and then it's funny because like we'll be on our way to go spar, right? And I'll be looking at my phone, he'll be looking at his phone, and I look over and he's looking at food, and
Yeah.
I'm looking at food too. So
Yesterday we're at a family reunion, and
Yeah.
you know they have cake, they have birria and all that.
Right.
And I'm looking at this guy like, man, what I would eat right now. It's
You
gonna
guys
be
are sitting
soup.
there sucking on ice
Yeah.
chips, just watching everybody
no chips,
eat.
no chips,
Just
we're-
water.
just
What-
water.
water.
That's
Well,
what I'm saying.
staying on the food topic, what are you guys gonna eat after March 9th?
After March 9th,
Everything.
you know, that's what we've been
Everything.
asking. That's what we've
Everything.
been asking each other. We've been asking each other, hey, if you can eat right now, what would you rather pick, nachos or buffalo wings? And we
Oh
just,
man.
yeah, so
So it's gonna come down on
Oh,
you guys.
man.
Yeah.
Man, I bet you guys even dream about food, huh? You guys
Oh,
probably
yeah.
probably
Yeah.
wake up like
Yeah.
starving, like just dreaming of chicken, like in your sleep. I can just
Yeah.
imagine little chicken wings jumping around.
Oh,
in
no,
your
but I mean,
dreams,
you
bro.
can eat chicken, but you dream of like you think of stuff you can't eat, like
Like for
tacos.
me, for me it's soda, Coca-Cola. I
Yeah,
crave that
same
like
here, same
crazy.
here.
Yeah. All right, man. Hey, we're gonna have to throw these guys a barbecue after their fight, man.
Oh man.
Just
Yeah.
make sure
I'm
there's
there.
nachos.
Bring them all the food that they want.
And so, are you on the co-main event, Alexis?
I'm the co-main
The
event.
co-main
Yeah.
event. So
That's
both you
huge.
guys are gonna be televised on ESPN,
Yeah.
man.
Yes, yeah.
So are there tickets still available?
Almost
know-
selling out. So if you
Yeah,
guys,
they're almost selling up, but I think they might open up standing up. I think for the fight.
And
Oh wow.
and where can fans get tickets? Can they buy them from you guys, like through
Through
TKO
Golden Boy,
or through Golden Boy?
and
Through Golden
TKO
Boy.
too as well.
we actually have some people that are buying it for us. At Frankie.Blanco, at Felipe Soto 13.
Yeah.
These guys are the guys that are handling tickets for us. If you guys want tickets for this fights, hit them up. These guys are the guys to get your tickets from before they sell out.
And I'm telling you, this card is gonna be lit. I mean,
Yeah.
you got Ronnie Rios, you got Alexis Rocha in their backyard in Orange County at the hangar. You can't ask for a better venue. You know, it's
Especially for them. Your
yeah,
backyard.
exactly.
Yeah.
Because ESPN has had a lot of its shows in Texas, in
Fantasy
Vegas,
Springs.
in Arizona, and Fantasy Springs. So this is the first time. I believe this is the first ESPN show
Yeah.
that Golden Boy has had in California. So to have it in Orange County, it's huge. You know,
Yeah.
it's huge, especially with these two guys coming from Orange County.
Yeah, literally 5 minutes away from where I live.
That's insane.
That's
Uh,
and
Do
how-
you guys think it more, now that the first one's going to come out of the way right here on March 9th, do you guys think that, Golden Boy and ESPN would want to go back to the hangar?
Oh, definitely. I think
I hope so. Like as far as ticket sales, they've been going so good. So I think they would want to go back again. And that would be awesome because a lot of people always think of LA, Vegas as a fight town. I want to put Orange County on the map.
Right.
Our fans are just as crazy. Not only that, you got LA border to.
shout out
s-
to our city,
yeah.
Santa Ana.
Yeah,
That's
of
where
course,
it's
Santa
at.
Ana,
man.
California.
So I want
Santa
to. I
Ana.
want to be able to go and show everyone, like, hey, you know what? These guys. That's a cool place to go. They have some good food. The atmosphere was cool. I mean, I don't know, but there might be some fights in the stands, but that's something I can't control.
so tell us how you guys got into boxing and how you guys ended up there at TKO gym.
You want me to go first?
Yeah, go ahead, Ronnie.
Okay,
start
I'll
it
go
off.
first because I was there first. So one day my uncle Ramiro was taking care of me, and Mexican tradition. My mom goes to Mexico, so she's like, hey, take care of my kids. So I ended up going with my uncle, and he had a KO magazine. lying around. And I picked it up and I started reading it. It was a centerfold for Vernon Forrest versus Shea Mosley, and I was like, oh man, those are some cool names. So I started reading. I was like, hey, this is cool. And then I watched the fight. I remember the first fight I ever saw when I really got into boxing was Floyd Mayweather versus Jose Luis Castillo Part 2.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
not a bad fight to watch for the first time.
It was a good boxing. Hey, Mayweather outboxed him
Yeah.
easily, you know. But I remember since then I just started watching fight. And then the second fight I saw, I believe, was Freso Kendo versus Chris Bird. That was the
Freso
second fight. So
Kendo.
then I started watching every week, and I just started reading magazines. I started getting into it. And I remember asking my coach, hey, that's when my uncle took me to the gym. He's like, hey, I know this gym. It's for free. Let's try to fight. I was like, all right, cool. So he took me to the gym, and I remember I walked in. I was like, damn, there was pictures of fighters with belts, like amateur belts, and I was like, oh, that's awesome. So I asked the coach, which was Hector. I was like, hey, nice to meet you. I was like, can I box? He's like, yeah, I'll train you. I was like, okay. And I was like, hey, who has the most belts in this gym? He's like, oh, that'll be so and so. He has 3. I was like, okay. And I always had that kind of competition in me. So I was like, okay. I'm going to try to get more than him, right? So sure enough, I ended up getting more than that person. And he's like, hey, I want you to break this record. He's like, okay, what is it? He's like, the most undefeated fighter that we have in this gym was 9-0. And the amateurs, that's a lot because in the amateurs, you fight everybody. You
Right.
know, they put you in tournaments, open tournaments. You're
Back
just
to
fighting
back,
back to back. So he's like, okay, his record's 9-0. You got to beat it. I was like, oh, well, okay. I was like, hell yeah. Sure enough, I got 14-0. at the
Oh,
gym.
wow.
Yeah, so right
Nice.
now, no one's broken it so far.
Are you up on the wall now?
He's up there. Oh, me?
No, you,
Yeah,
'cause
I'm up there. I'm up there.
you're
I'm
up on the wall now?
I'm up
Yeah.
there. And then that's when I took this guy because this guy started getting. Oh, tell me your story,
Yeah,
bro.
like growing up, I used to see these guys fight. It was him and my older brother that would box, and they were both amateurs. And keep in mind, all our family went, so I had to go. But me growing up, I hated boxing. Literally, I was thinking to myself, oh man, one of these fights are over. What video games am I going
Right.
to play?
I just want to get out of here.
Yeah, I just want to get
Yeah.
out of here. But at that time, I was about age 11, 12, and at this time, I was really heavy. I was
Right.
obese as a little kid.
Mhm.
I was age 11, age 12, I was 210, 205.
Wow.
Wow.
So I took it upon myself to go to the gym, start working out, and I still wasn't feeling boxing. I hated it.
Right.
Like I said, my thing was playing video games, eating, and little by little I started working out. Within the first 6 months, I would say I lost 60 pounds.
Wow.
60 to 65 pounds.
Wow.
And my coach was putting me to spar this time, and he told me, hey, you're fighting next week. And to me, I didn't think much of it. I was like, all right,
You're
cool.
just like, oh, I'm just gonna
Yeah,
go in there.
I'm gonna just try. I'm gonna just see how it goes. But during those 1 week, I trained really hard, waking up every day, early morning, like 5 in the morning to go run, going to school, come back, working out, going after the gym, going running again. And I remember my first fight, I knocked him out in the second round.
Like out.
Wow.
Like out.
Like
Yeah,
out. That's
out.
that you don't see that in the amateurs when somebody falls down and they don't get back up. And I was just
Were you there, Ronnie, watching that
Yeah, I
fight?
was there, of course.
It was in our backyard too, Santa
Right.
Ana. Yeah,
Oh,
in Santa
man.
Ana. And from there on, I told myself, if I stick to this sport,
Right.
I'm gonna go places. And I know, and I truly believe that. And ever since, I fell in love with the sport.
How old are you now, Alexis?
20.
20 years
20
old.
So that was about 7 years ago.
And you're fighting welterweights, correct? 147 right now?
Yes, I'm 10-0, 7 knockouts as a welterweight.
Nice. And how comfortable you're at that weight right now?
Very comfortable. I'm only 2 weeks out. I'm only a couple pounds away. I make it very comfortable after every fight. Before every weigh-in, I'm literally half a pound under. So I make it very comfortable.
Nice. And who are you going to be fighting?
I'll be fighting Miguel Dumas from Texas. Not from Texas, from I believe Mexico.
Yeah.
Tough guy. He has a good record. 10 wins, 1 loss, 7 knockouts. So you could expect a good fight.
So probably one of your toughest opponents today.
One of my
maybe?
toughest opponents. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you can't take anybody lightly.
Oh, I
either
can't
way.
take anyone. And I'll be fighting both of us actually. I'll be fighting for the WBC Continental Americas title.
Oh,
so
nice.
It'll be my first little belt,
WBC
regional belt.
regional belt, yeah.
Yeah, regional belt.
And you Crazy 8, huh? You got
Oh
you-
yeah, that's
Crazy
gonna be a good fight right there, man. It's like going back to what you were saying earlier, Golden Boy. That's why I like working with Golden Boy because they don't try to, they don't try to like, oh, we're gonna try and fight so and so, and then fight like, nah, man. It's like, you want to fight this guy? It's like, hell yeah, I've never turned an opponent down. So, for me to fight Crazy A, he comes forward. It's gonna be an exciting fight. Ryan Rios versus Crazy A. That's gonna be a good fight. This guy, my hat goes off to him, man. He accepted the fight. I mean, he thinks he can beat me, so we're gonna
And-
go out there and prove him wrong.
you know, your last fight, you know, what did you learn, man, going into that HBO fight, man, against well, was it Ray Vargas your last fight, right?
Vargas,
No, it was
yeah,
in
yeah.
December, but it was televised. Yeah,
Last August was Ray Vargas.
Ray Vargas.
last was.
What'd you learn from that, man?
You know what? I noticed that everybody gets nervous. You
Yeah.
know, I got a little nerves leading up to not leading up to the fight, the day of the fight. You know, I started getting a little nerves, and it starts playing games on you. And I just feel like I started too late. Like I feel like if I would have been myself 100%, you know, physically, mentally, it would have been a whole different story. But like, you know, that stuff, it ate at me away for a while. It's just like, man, you know, I pretty much gave away the fight because I was too tentative. I was too, you know, I let my mind like kind of doubt itself at times. But then I was like, hey, you know what? All right, that's in the past. Now it's time to focus on the future, man. And it's like, if I do what I know I'm capable of doing right now, I'm gonna get that rematch, and that's what I want.
You know, because the last time you lost, you know, against Castellanos, it seemed like that was a big learning experience for you because, I mean, you were a good prospect. You took on Castellanos. You lost that fight, tough fight. But then it seems like you learned so much more because your progression had jumped. Like you went from a B level to an A level fighter after that loss, you know, and hopefully now, you know, after this Ray Vargas fight, you know, you can improve again and, you know, and learn from that. But Vargas dude's a beast, man. He's huge. He's a big
guy.
120 man. For 122, you know.
Tall, very tall.
Tall fighter. You know, I think you fought him. I think you fought him tough. I do think Vargas won. You know, I don't disagree with the judges.
Yeah,
but I just sometimes, you know, styles make fights.
Yeah, of course.
You know, and with his length, I don't see him staying at 22 very much longer. You know, maybe he'll vacate that belt, and then you'll have another chance at another world title fight. You know.
I mean, that's a plan. Everybody always wants the opportunity to fight for a world title. But me as an individual, I want to avenge that loss more than anything. You know, I think avenging that loss would be a little bit more. I would like to avenge the Castellanos fight too, but the thing is, he's at a different weight class. You know, I don't know how much longer he's gonna keep fighting. But Ray Vargas, you know, we're identical in age, and we're still in the same weight class. So that's something that I would want to do. It's revenge.
To get that loss.
Yeah, to
avenge your loss.
Yeah.
But you know, you were able to bounce back. Was it December on the Cotto Ali undercard?
Yeah, it would have bounced back, but not the way I wanted to. You know, it wasn't televised, and it's just when you have a different opponent in front of you, it's just you sometimes lower yourself to their level.
Right.
Yeah, but now when you have a fight where everyone's like, man, this guy's tough. This is gonna be a good fight. It's like, oh hell yeah! It's just like that's what wakes you up at 5 a.m. to go do your road work. You come back. You know, that's what makes you put in the extra work, but at the same time, that's smart work, you know, because there is a thing as overtraining. So this is a whole different experience. This is different. This is like I feel is my comeback fight because obviously it's a different opponent. Everyone's talking about him.
So how did you hook up with Golden Boy? How did that, you know, come to fruition with you signing with Golden Boy?
This was a while back, so my memory's a little hazy, but I just remember Hector was telling me, hey, you know what? There was me and our former fighter. They used to fight with us. He's like, hey, they want to sign you guys. And I was just like, damn. I was like, that's cool. And then we went to the office. You go in the little waiting room. You see all the belts, all the magazines. And, you know, it was awesome. I was like, damn, this is really going to happen. I remember we had suits on. So I was like, yeah, we had suits on. I remember they dressed us. They dressed us. And they're like, oh, you need to go professional. Showed up, signed. It was an awesome feeling, you know. But as far as how they got into contact us, I don't know.
It just happened.
Yeah, it just happened.
So did you guys sign at the same time?
Yeah, we signed at the same time.
What happened? Just keep going.
All right.
You're fine.
No, yeah. Okay, so both you guys did sign at the same
time? No. Me and some other, he signed later. He signed right off the bat.
I signed 2 years ago, right off the bat, turning pro.
And it was it due to your brother? You think due to your brother? Or do you think
no,
you were just showing him, you know?
Well, keep in mind, they were looking at me. Golden Boy was looking at me because of him. He was my older brother, but at this time, I was taking on all these national titles. I was a 6-time national champion. I had traveled overseas to represent the USA in the junior and youth division.
Yeah.
And I was placing high at these tournaments. Bronze, silver, I was cheated away from a gold medal because going overseas, you have a target in your back from being USA.
Yeah.
I think during this time, within 3 years, I racked up almost 70 fights. I only had 5 losses. And some of those were controversial due to me fighting overseas. And this time, Golden Boy was looking at me. Matchmaker Robert Diaz said, hey, Canelo needs a sparring partner. Little did they call me for him fighting for the Kirkland fight. I'm a southpaw. Kirkland's a southpaw. I went and got my rounds with Canelo. Afterwards, Canelo had a lot of good things to say about me. He told Robert Diaz this kid could fight.
And what was it like sparring with Canelo? Because, I mean, you know, not a lot of people are able to be in that position.
It's overwhelming. It didn't hit me till I shook his hand.
And we're going to get back into that, Canelo. I want to hear more of this, but we're going to go ahead and get into one of our sponsors' drops right about now.
Yeah, because I think people want to hear about that.
Yeah.
Hey, this is Beto Chulo Vergara from A Lighter Shade of Brown and Random Comedy, here to tell you about Only One's Garage, a proud sponsor of the SoCal Boxing Report. Now, if you're looking for the best in quality paint and body work and friendly service, Only One's Garage is your family-owned and operated go-to place. Whether you were in an accident or want a custom paint job, maybe you have a classic that you want looking brand new again, visit our friends at O1G, where everyone gets family treatment, located in the city of Fontana at 17855 East Foothill Boulevard, Unit 6. You can find them on Instagram or call 909-933-0935. 909-933-0935. Make sure you mention the SoCal Boxing Report, and they will give you special rates on insurance claim deductibles and additional discounts on overall paint and body work. O1G, Only One's Garage, in the city of Fontana. Walk-ins are welcomed.
All right. Special thanks to Only One's Garage. We appreciate it for being one of our primary sponsors. And let's back to Lex Luthor over here.
17 years old, sparring with Canelo.
Yeah.
What, you know, let's get back into that. You know, what was that like? You said you shook his hand, and that's when it really hit you.
It hit me. I was looking across. I was like, damn, that's Canelo right there. I'm about to go in with that monster right there. You know, at the time, still right now, he's top one, easily one of the pound one of the best. And I got in there. I was an amateur. I didn't have no pro experience. I mean, sparring from these guys and guys from the gym, but going with that guy was just another level.
Right.
It was just, I mean, he knew I was 17, so he was working with me at the time, but I'd hit him flush.
Right.
And I know I hit him flush. You know when the guy's going hard when your corner tells you, hey, slow it down.
Right,
In Spanish, he said, hey, calmado.
Right.
So a little slow. He's like, go a little slower. But afterwards, he was just very impressed with me. He told me I have very heavy hands. I was fast for my size. And like I said, he told Robert Diaz, the matchmaker of Golden Boy, you know, you guys need to sign this kid.
Wow. So Canelo probably had a hand in you getting signed.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
So Canelo, if you're listening in, thank you, man. But that's good, man. Both of you guys in the same Golden Boy stable.
Yeah.
You know, what's it like fighting for Golden Boy? And what do you guys think about their stable right now, of all the young prospects that are in that stable with you guys?
Oh, man, it's a blessing. Like, you got so much prospects. Me, myself, I think I'm one of the best ones out there. And you got Ronnie, obviously the next world champion.
Yeah, world champion contender. And you, Ronnie. So, fans, man, where can fans find you guys at? Where you guys have social media? Instagram? Let us know.
Yeah, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at AlexisRocha777.
You can follow me at Ronnie_Rios_.
All right, so Ronnie_Rios_ and Alexis
Rocha777.
What's the meaning of 777?
My birthday, July 7th, 1997.
Okay. I was like, there's a meaning behind that. I don't want. We got to know what it is.
So your birthday. All right. So, with all this being said, man, we got a big fight coming up May 5th. It's been announced. Tuesday is the kickoff press conference for Canelo Triple G2.
Open to the public too.
Open to the public. Yeah.
Are you guys gonna be there? Maybe.
I don't know. That's
not
a
sure
good
yet.
question right now with training camp and everything.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah. So right now it's kind of, you know.
So how do you guys see the second fight playing out between these two guys, man?
I got Canelo.
I mean, I want to say Canelo, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, maybe. I don't know. You know, it's kind of, in boxing, you never know, man.
Yeah, sure. All it takes one punch.
Yeah,
but
go ahead.
Yeah, you got Canelo, who's a much younger guy. I think Golovkin's age is catching up to him. Out of all the years, he was reigning down 160. I think Canelo now is naturally a 160, a big guy. And keep in mind, he's young. Golovkin's aging, and Canelo didn't really do that many mistakes in his last fight. Just he needed to be more active, needed to throw more punches. And I believe this fight, he's going to take more risk. But with that being said, if you take more risk on a guy like Golovkin, you're going to get caught with the with the sneaky punch.
Exactly. And you were at that last fight, right? Ronnie?
Yeah, I was there. I mean, we were there, so it always looks different live than when it does on TV. That's what a lot of people will say. A lot of people was like, "Oh man, this fight was dumb." I was like, "Dude, it looks different in person."
I thought it was a great fight. I really think that fight was a good fight. You've seen two of the best fighters in the world going toe to toe. And like I was telling you guys earlier, when Adelaide Byrd scored at 118-110, I think that deteriorated away from the fight. I think too many people looked at that score instead of looking at that fight, because I would have been happy with the draw. I thought Golovkin can win. I wouldn't argue a draw. It was a draw. It is what it is. But the scorecard itself, it took away from how big the fight actually was and how good the fight actually was between those two guys getting in the ring with each other. And people don't know. I mean, these are two of the best fighters in the world. Yeah. I mean, it's not like Golovkin was just going to go in and knock Canelo out, and it wasn't going to be the same either way. They're going to show each other that mutual respect. They're going to fill each other out, I mean, their careers are on the line down there.
I mean, I just feel like right now, Triple G, I mean, yeah, he's a little older, but how many wars can you really say he's been in? How many times has he been dropped?
He's never been dropped.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's never been dropped.
From what I heard, he's always staying healthy after the fights. He doesn't gain too much
he
weight.
He stays around the same weight.
Same weight, man.
So, I mean, and besides, not only that, the last thing to leave a fighter is his punch. And that's what he's known for. So, like, I don't know. I could see Canelo moving around, being a little more active, but at the same time, I can also see him being more taking more risks and getting caught. So it's all gonna matter, It's what is it, like 6-8 months really gonna catch up to Triple G?
Right.
So it's just like you don't know what to. That's why I want to watch this fight, because you don't know what to expect.
Have you guys ever sparred each other?
Yeah, we spar each other.
Is it like in terms of your family? Are you guys like the Klitschko's, where your family doesn't want to see you fight, so you guys won't fight?
No, it's not even our family. It's us. I wouldn't want to fight this guy.
Oh, me.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to fight.
Because I'm sure you guys know that the Klitschko brothers, they would never fight each other.
Yeah,
they said their mom said don't fight each other, and they respected that. But they were the top two heavyweights in the world for the longest time. But you guys will never fight each other.
Like 5 weight classes.
Yeah, 25 pounds bigger than these guys.
So like, when you were saying you hit Canelo flush, and they were like, calmate.
Yeah.
So when you and your brother got to sparring, did you ever hit him flush, and were they like calmate, or did you guys just go at it?
My coach told me to take it easy on him. Not gonna lie.
Okay. He got you right there.
Yeah.
I don't know, but all I remember was he was huffing and puffing the last time we sparred.
That's good, man. Growing up as kids, were you guys like, did you start sparring at a young age, like as kids? I
actually started boxing late. I started boxing at 13 going on 14.
Wow.
Yeah, so.
But look at where you're at now. I mean,
you
can call it late, but look at where you're at now.
Yeah, I know. A lot of people start fighting 8 or 5, but I was just like, I started late, but I was just like, I gotta work harder. I gotta work harder to catch up to other fighters, that have put so many years in. By the time I was fighting my first national titles, a lot of those guys were already multiple national titles, titleists, So I had to really bust my butt to work out to get to there.
For a lot of people that aren't from Southern California, like I'm from Southern California, so I know, Orange County got its bad parts, man. You got Santa Ana, you got Anaheim, you got Buena Park, you got bad parts in everywhere you go. But for a lot of people, they see the OC, it's basically like the Beverly Hills, it's down there, it's the Orange County, the surfers and whatnot.
It's because you got those shows, those like plastic surgery shows.
No, exactly. That's why I'm saying OC gets a stereotype of, a certain type of people. They're they stereotype them like you guys are surfers and this and that. You guys aren't like the real Mexican Chicanos. How's the Mexican crowd out there in the OC, man? How are your fans out there? Do they get behind you? Do you have like the Mexicans from Mexico that are behind you as well?
Yeah.
Because here in Southern California, we call it Chicanos. We call you guys Chicanos out here. We're Chicanos. We're all Chicanos. We're not paisas, we're not, Mexicans from Mexico, so how do they treat you, man? How do the fans treat you like that, man?
They treat us with love, they see good, like you said, Santa Ana has rough places, but they see the good in us, that we're trying to put our city on the map.
Yeah.
We're not going out there, smuggling drugs. We're out there putting our city on the map by fighting.
No, exactly.
Yeah, we're trying to be the first 2 world champions in Santa Ana. I think in OC, I don't think OC has a world champion yet, so that's what we're trying to do for
That'd
the
be
good
huge,
of our
man.
city.
That'd be huge.
And the reason I say that too is because like me growing up, I'm older than you guys, so I seen like what De La Hoya went through. What Michael Carbajal went through, because he wasn't Mexican enough for the Mexicans, so when Carbajal had to face Chiquita Gonzalez, it was like all the pesos were going for the Mexicans, Same thing with De La Hoya when he fought Chavez. It was like all the Mexicans from Mexico were going for Chavez. The Mexicans from here were going for the Golden Boy for De La Hoya. You know, so that's kind of like, you know, what I was going at with that. You know, what are you guys doing in Orange County to get everybody behind you? Because I know you guys got a big fan base out there in Orange County. You know, but I've been in parts of Anaheim, and I know there's some there's some places where you can actually guys get into and get to these Mexican crowds and let them know, hey, we're here. Yeah. And this is who we are, and this is what we're about, you know?
Well, one of them is we've been working a lot with our sponsors, and a lot of them are in downtown Santa Ana, like Calacas, or, you know, we also got another sponsor, too, that's in the nicer side. It's in Euro Cafe, too, you know, so. Yeah. And then we got Fruities, too, which is in Costa Mesa.
Suavecito.
Yeah, Suavecito, too. So Suavecito's been coming up, you know.
Nice.
Oh, you guys are sponsored by Suavecito, too?
Yeah, yeah.
What? Gotta get that good hair.
Yeah.
Man.
So, you know, we're co-promoting with them too, and Hector Mariscos too. So they've been very outgoing towards us, and they have a large population.
Hector Mariscos. I've seen some of their stuff on Facebook. So.
Maybe you've probably seen him in person.
I've stopped by a couple times. You know.
Oh, he's been there more than a couple times.
Hey, no, but you know that's good, man. I mean, it's good that you guys are coming, you know, out of Orange County and representing for all of us. In Southern California, for all the Latin communities, for the Hispanics out there in Southern California, you know, because it's big. It's always good to see somebody do good, you know, to come from the streets and do good. And both of you guys, especially brothers, you know, because a lot of times you got a good brother and you got a bad brother. You know, you got like me, for instance, you know, I'm quote unquote the good one. My brother's locked up, so he's the bad one. You know, it happens, you know, but for both of you guys, I mean, to be coming up from the streets, to be boxing, to be doing something for the community, man, I really, you know, I'm proud of you guys, man. Seriously, I mean, and I wish you guys nothing but the best, and I wish you guys good luck on your guys' fight coming up. You know, TKO. I hear they do a lot for the kids.
Yeah,
man.
they do a lot. They usually have 50 or 60 kids in there. You know, they try to take them off the streets and stuff like that because Santa Ana is a good place, but it could also suck you into, you know, a lot of bad places. Yeah,
the gangs, the drugs. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I mean,
so even if there's younger kids out there who just want to go into TKO just
to live a healthier lifestyle. The way I did.
Exactly.
The way I did. Yeah.
Losing 60 pounds in 6 months, right?
Yeah, exactly. We want to be good role models to these kids. Like for me, for instance, if you're like a little overweight kid, you know, go in there, live a healthier lifestyle. You know, it even involves bullying. You know, people bullied me from my weight. I didn't like it, so I went in there little by little. You know, I didn't freeze for it. You know, I didn't lower myself down. I just kept doing me.
Right.
Yeah, not only that, TKO too. It's a lot of people think, oh, it's a boxing gym, man. I'm pretty sure you go in there, everybody's all serious. You can't laugh. Nah, man, it's actually the opposite. You guys, we take it serious, but at the same time, we mess around a lot. It's a fun. It's like it's like a little, cause I'm a family man. Yeah. You know, I have my wife, my kid at home. So when I'm at the gym after we're done, we work out for 2 hours, 3 hours. You know, the coach will go out and you're like, you're not doing it right. He starts screaming at you, but afterwards, everyone just forgets about it and just starts messing around, and that's therapeutic, man, because everyone brings out like, hey, you know what? I have this problem, and everyone does a circle. No, you should do this. You should do this. You know, it's
you guys are all therapists.
Yeah. It's like therapy, man. So at the same time, it's like it teaches you how to be outgoing. You know, it's like I remember I was never shy, but I used to be shy with public. Like I couldn't talk. Like, public speaking for me, I used to get more nervous than I did in fights. But when you're at the gym, it's just it brings you out of that shell. You know, man. And not only that, it's like, hey, man, don't be doing this, don't be doing that. So it teaches you, like, you know, it gives you a right path to follow. And it's just people think boxing, you don't smile. Oh, you know, you're a jerk, this and that. No, man, it's like we have lives other than boxing. It's like you have to come to the gym. I remember at one time they made a documentary on TKO, and they showed that documentary at a Sundance video, like a film festival. Yeah,
that's big.
And it won some awards. So I think the gym got offers from 1 or 2 different TV to come and do like what is it called, like those kind of like those Jersey Shore, like those
like a reality show.
Yeah, reality show to follow. And Hector and my coach was like, nah, you know what, we can't do that. We're business here. We can't just come in.
He didn't want to take away from what he was doing.
So he had to deny it twice, and you know, so there's just it's very therapeutic. It's a good place, man. If you guys have kids in Santa Ana, you guys want to
bring them on to Jerome Center.
Yeah.
TKO.
Well,
yes, sir.
in closing, man, we'd like to thank you, Ronnie, and thank you, Alexis,
Yeah, we
for coming
appreciate
on to
it.
the show. We really appreciate you guys coming out all the way to Redlands to the studio, man. We know it was a little drive for you guys. We wish you the best of luck. If you guys are listening in right now, do not forget March 9th. There's limited tickets available.
It's selling out.
This show is going to sell out. You have Ronnie Rios headlining the show live on ESPN. In the co-main event, you have his brother Alexis Rocha in Orange County in their backyard. You also have Mari Conejo on that card. So Golden Boy has stacked this card. It's the first ESPN on Golden Boy Series card in California. It's in Orange County at the hangar in Costa Mesa. You can get your tickets through goldenboy.com and give them that.
You could DM, Instagram, Twitter at Frankie.Blanco, at Felipe C. Soto 13, and also at R Villa.
All right. Well, that's it for the Southern California Boxing Report. We'd like to thank you for tuning in. Until next time, this is Anthony Stack Saldana with my host, Danny Z.
Thanks. We appreciate it.